Good morning, students. Today we are going to introduce Unit 3, Keeping Our Words. So please open your booklet, page 21, in order to introduce the new words. The first word is spine. Spine means the narrow part of the cover of a book that you can see when it is on a shelf. Number 2, the word content. Content is a noun, means the different sections that are contained in a book, okay, or the list at the front of a book. If you look at your student's book, you will find the content at the beginning of your book. Title page, it's a page at the front of a book on which you find the name of the book, the writer, and the publisher or the company that printed the book. Index is a list in order from A to Z, usually at the end of a book, of the names or subjects that are referred to in the book. So pay attention, the title page at the front of a book or at the beginning of a book, but the index, it's found at the end of a book. Illustrations like drawing, diagram, or picture in a book or magazine, in order to illustrate things or make things clear. Author is a person who writes a book or a play, for example, it means writer. Publish is a verb, means to prepare and print a book or a magazine and make it available to the public. The noun from publish is publisher, okay? Publisher is a person or company that publishes books or magazines. The next word is biography. Biography means the story of a person's life written by somebody else. But autobiography, the story of a person's life written by that person. So pay attention to the difference between biography and autobiography. Biography written by somebody else, but autobiography written by that person. Fiction means stories or novels, okay? It means books that have imaginary events, stories or novels which describe events and people that are not real, okay? Non-fiction means writing that is about real people, events, and facts, so pay attention between the difference. Hardback means a book that has a stiff cover, a book that has a hard cover, okay, difficult to be penned. But paperback, it's a book that has a paper cover. Pictogram means a picture presenting a word or phrase. Represent means to be a picture or sign. For example, the yellow lines on the map represent minor roads. Ideogram means a sample that is used in a writing system. For example, the Chinese. Okay, the Chinese language consists of samples or ideograms to represent the idea of a thing rather than the sounds of a word. Cuneiform, it's the writing of ancient Mesopotamia. Hieroglyph, it's a picture or sample of an object representing a word, syllable, or sound, especially as used in ancient Egyptian and other writing systems. So it's the language used in ancient Egypt. Now let's move to the grammar structure. The grammar of this unit is about compound adjective. We have taken before adjectives like tall, short, fat, thin, okay, but today we are going to talk about compound adjectives. Compound adjectives consist of two or more words, okay, that can be combined to form one adjective, joined by hyphens. We have cardinal numbers. Cardinal numbers, for example, a car has 4 doors. A car has 4 doors. When we want to describe this car, we can say it's a 4-door car. So pay attention, we don't put the letter S, okay, to the noun. It's a 4-door car. And we put dash between them. 4-door. This is called compound adjective. The book consists of 200 pages. We can describe this book by saying it's a 200-page book. Again, we don't put S. 200 page. What about age? For example, Layla is 17 years old. So we can say she is a 17-year-old girl. The same, we don't put S. Okay, present past participle or the parts of the body. For example, when I say a man with a good looking. A man with a good looking. So we can describe this man by saying he is a good looking man. A cake made by hand, it's a hand-made cake. What about parts of the body? For example, if I say this man has long legs, this man has long legs. So we can describe him by saying long-legged man, a long-legged man. We put ed to the part of the body. Now let's practice the compound adjective by answering this question. Use compound adjective to describe the following. Number 1, food that has been badly cooked. A badly cooked food. Number 2, children who are highly praised. Highly praised children. Number 3, a picture that has been neatly painted. A neatly painted picture. Number 4, a girl with blonde hair. A blonde-haired girl. Pay attention, we add ed because hair is a part of the body. A letter that is badly written. A badly written letter. Now let's move to the past simple. Contrasts the present perfect. What about the past simple and the present perfect? We use the present perfect when the time period has not finished. For example, I have seen 3 movies this week. It means that this week has not finished yet. So we use the present perfect tense. But we use the past simple when the time period has finished. For example, I saw 3 movies last week. Okay, last week has finished. So we use the past simple. As we know, we use the past simple to express actions that started and finished in the past. We use the present perfect when giving recent news or when giving new news or new information. For example, Martin has crashed his car again. This is new information. But we use the past simple to give older information. For example, Martin crashed his car last year. This is old information or old news. We also use the present perfect when the time is not specific, when we don't have definite time. For example, I have seen that movie already. We don't know when. But we use the past simple when the time is clear, when we know the time. For example, I saw that movie on Thursday. Here we have on Thursday. So we know exactly when. We also use the present perfect with for and since when the actions have not finished yet. When the actions have not finished yet. For example, I have lived in Victoria for 5 years. It means that I still live in Victoria. But we use the past simple with for and since when the actions have already finished. For example, I lived in Victoria for 5 years. Okay, here it means that I don't live in Victoria now. Okay, let's remember the past simple, the form of the past simple. As we know, most of the verbs end in ed. For example, the past of work, worked, visit, visited. But we have also some irregular verbs like speak. The past of speak is spoken. The past perfect consists of had plus bb or had plus el past participle, like I had spoken, I had worked. But pay attention to these exceptions. Verbs ending in E, we just add D, like the verb love. Okay, it ends with E, so we just add D. Verbs that end in a consonant letter preceded by a vowel letter, we double the last letter before adding ed. Okay, like the verb admit. Admit here ends in T. T is consonant letter and it preceded by I, which is a stressed vowel. So we double the last letter, double T, before adding ed. Pay attention also that final L is always doubled in British English, but not in American English, like the verb travel. Okay, when we want to put the verb travel in the past, we double L of the last letter before adding ed. Also, verbs that end in Y preceded by a consonant letter, we change Y into I before adding ed, like the verb worry. Worry ends in Y, preceded by R, which is a consonant letter, so we change Y into I before adding ed. What about the past perfect? When we have two actions that happened in the past, the first action must be in the past perfect, and the second action in the past simple. Here we have some keywords like the word after and as soon as, which are followed by past perfect and then past simple. For example, after I had finished my homework, I watched TV. Here we mean that first I finished my homework, then I watched TV. Also we have before and by the time, which are followed by past simple and then past perfect. We also can say, before I watched TV, I had done my homework. We have also till and until, which are preceded by past simple negative and are followed by past perfect. For example, I didn't watch TV. Pay attention, past simple negative. I didn't watch TV until I had done my homework. So doing my homework is the first action. Now open your booklet, page 29, in order to answer this exercise. Correct the verb number 1. After my friends leave the party, I feel lonely. After, we have here the keyword after. As we said, after is followed by past perfect. So after my friends had left the party, I felt lonely. Number 2, she thanked for what I do for her. She thanked me for what I had done for her. Okay, first I did something for her, then she thanked me. Number 3, she confessed that he confessed that he had murdered the old man. This is the first action, so we use the past perfect. Number 4, by the time we arrived, the train had left. By the time, keyword which is followed by past simple, the second part of the sentence we should use the past perfect. Number 5, the sun rise before I be ready to pray. The sun had risen before I was ready to pray. The next question, put since or for. Since is followed by a definite time, okay, but for is followed by a period of time. Again, since is followed by a definite time or the beginning of the action, but for is followed by a period of time. We don't know exactly when the action started. For example, number 1, I haven't seen them ages. I haven't seen them, space, ages. So I haven't seen them for ages. Number 2, I have been living here, space, July. Since July, definite time, we know. Number 3, he worked there several years. He worked there for several years. Number 4, I haven't seen him space last week. I haven't seen him since last week. Number 5, it's been a long time. I have had such a good meal in a restaurant. Since. Number 6, he hasn't been able to work the last 3 weeks. For the last 3 weeks. Number 7, they have known about it a long time. For. Number 8, he hasn't worked hard space he was at school. Since. So pay attention, since is preceded by present perfect and it's followed by past perfect. It's followed by past simple. Again, since preceded by present perfect and it's followed by past simple. Number 9, I haven't seen her for a fortnight. Fortnight means 2 weeks. Number 10, they haven't been here since 1993. The next question, rewrite the following sentences. Number 1, I haven't met him for years. Use since. I haven't met him since 1900. Okay, we can put any year that gives the same meaning. Number 2, he made a speech, then we left the place. First, he made a speech, then we left the place. So use until. So we can say we didn't leave the place until he had made a speech. Until is preceded by past simple negative and it's followed by past perfect. Number 3, he had gone shopping before he returned home. He had gone shopping before he returned home. So he didn't, I'll start with he didn't. So the answer will be he didn't return home until he had gone shopping. Number 4, I last saw him when we were in London. Use since. I haven't seen him since we were in London. Number 5, she hasn't visited her aunt since last year. She hasn't visited her aunt for a year. Thank you for today. Tomorrow, inshallah, we will continue the unit. Goodbye. Good morning, students. Today we are going to introduce Unit 3 to complete Unit 3, keeping our words. Please open your booklet, page 22, in order to complete our new words. The first word is clay. Clay means heavy earth that is soft and sticky when it is wet and becomes hard when it is baked or dried, used for making bricks or containers. So clay is heavy earth or heavy soil which is used for making bricks or containers. The next word is papyrus. Papyrus means paper made from the stems of the papyrus plant used in ancient Egypt for writing and drawing on. So it's a paper which is used in ancient Egypt. Wonder. Wonder means something that causes you to feel surprise or admiration. For example, the wonders of modern technology, or the pyramids are one of the 7 wonders. Threat. Threat means a person or thing that may damage something or hurt somebody, something that indicates future danger. For example, the biggest threat to Alexandria Library will be the Mediterranean Sea. The next word is submerge. Submerge is a verb means to go or make something go under water. For example, the fields were submerged by the floods. It means that the fields went under water. The next word is granite. Granite means a hard gray rock which is used for building. House here is a verb, means to contain or keep something. For example, her office is housed in a separate building. The next word is Hellenistic. Hellenistic means relating to the history or art of ancient Greece. Scripture means books of religious importance for particular religions, such as the Bible for Christians. Reveal means to show something that was hidden before. For example, the X-ray revealed a tiny fracture in her right hand. It means that the X-ray showed a very small break in her right hand. Convince means to succeed in making somebody believe something, or to convince means to persuade. Decade means a period of 10 years, and we also know century is a period of 100 years. In cooperation means working together, and it takes the preposition with, in cooperation with. Supreme means the highest or greatest possible. Antiquity means something of great age. Inscription, words that are written or cut on something, means writing which are written or cut on something. Expose means to remove what is covering something so that it can be seen. Now open your booklet, page 23. Choose the correct answer. Number 1. When you promise someone, you should keep your words. Number 2. Fiction is a book about imaginary events. Number 3. Bibliothic Alexandria is one of the 7 wonders of the world. Number 4. When people die, they are buried. Number 5. She wrote the space of her husband after he had died. She wrote the biography. Number 6. Alexandria is the of the world famous library. Alexandria is the location. Number 7. In space with my friends, we could make the environment better. In cooperation with. Number 8. I tried him to stay with us in the school. I tried to convince him. Number 9. Charles Dickens is the of A Tale of Two Cities. Charles Dickens is the author. Author means writer. Number 10. Her picture was on the of the magazine. Her picture was on the cover of the magazine. Number 11. You can find the date of the publication of the book on the title page. Number 12. Children's books are always with pictures, are always illustrated. Number 13. A book is published by a publisher. Number 14. The space is where the papers are joined together. The spine. Number 15. Glass and the metal can the rays of the sun can reflect. Number 16. Papyrus was first used for writing in Egypt. Number 17. People had used the pictograms to a sound as well as a word to represent. Number 18. Space is books and stories about imaginary events, fiction. Number 19. Biographies and cookery books are examples of non-fiction. The last one, rocks, clay, and pottery were materials used for writing. Now open your booklet, page 32. Choose the correct answer. Number 1. People needed writing to be able to space ideas, to represent ideas. Number 2. Writing began with pictures called pictograms. Number 3. Pictures were useful, space a simple message. for a simple message. Number 4, an example of would be a picture of a pair of legs walking, meaning to go. An example of an ideogram. Number 5, space is the ancient writing of Egypt. Hieroglyph. Number 6, space is a person or a company that prints books and makes them available to the public. Publisher. Number 7, a book is illustrated by illustrator, an illustrator. Number 8, a book is sold by a bookshop. Number 9, a play is written by a dramatist. Number 10, space translates a book into another language. Translator. Number 11, space is the ancient writing of Mesopotamia. Cuneiform. Number 12, papyrus was first used for writing in Egypt. Number 13, now we can send the messages by emails. Now rewrite the following sentences. Number 1, I visited France in 2005. Use ago. I visited France 15 years ago. Number 2, they watched a film at 5 p.m. Now it's 7 p.m. Use ago. They watched a film 2 hours ago. Number 3, Hani sent an email a short time ago. Hani had just sent an email. Just is a keyword for the present perfect tense. Number 4, I have never read such an interesting book. It's the most interesting book I have ever read. Number 5, first he studied hard, then he answered well. Use after. He answered well after he had studied hard. As we said before, after is followed by past perfect. Number 6, I spent a holiday that lasted 2 weeks. I spent a 2-week holiday. Compound adjective. Number 7, I saw a girl with brown eyes. Use a brown. I saw a brown-eyed girl. Number 8, it was the worst exam that Judy had ever had to take. Judy has never had such a bad exam. Thank you for today. See you tomorrow, inshallah. Goodbye.